Something funny. This is Just Plain Living, and our Julia substitute out there behind the camera said, think of something funny.
He tells you that about 10 seconds before we go on the air.
Yeah.
So what does he think?
So have you thought of something funny?
I'm looking at it.
Oh, okay.
Right behind the camera.
Do you think we're pros or something here? What's up with that?
Okay, y'all, it's
man.
election day.
It's election day. I'm John Gray, by the way, and this is Just Plain Living.
I'm Peggy Burton,
And I'm Jim Fuller.
and
we're
I've
glad to be
voted
here.
already. And you have too, haven't you?
I have too.
And I haven't.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody out there will vote. I mean, you live in this great country where you have this opportunity to study both issues and then go vote for your preference.
That's right.
That's right.
Be educated.
And so
You
about
know,
it.
I want to say this, and I have the opportunity through working with the news. We work a lot with Bernita Davis over at the Coffee County Election Commission. She just does an absolutely great job over there, and you know, it's all organized. Things run so smoothly, and you know, because I moved, I had to vote in this election in Franklin County this year. First time I'd been there, and
Were they good to you?
yeah, it was amazing. The
Yeah, it's
day I was
different,
there
yeah.
was a couple of weeks ago, I guess. You know, when they had like 800 or 900 people voted that day.
Oh, wow.
But you know, when you go in the door over there, it's like, you know, there's issues with photo IDs and stuff like
Right.
that. And you know, they had a little place over here to the left where they would explain to you how all that worked, and so it didn't hold up the line if you had all the
your stuff
credentials. But
ready.
yeah, so they were quite efficient.
They are.
And we should
They do a good
appreciate
job.
that, because if you look at the state of Florida,
Oh,
I
my
mean, here we
God.
go, another year, chaos.
And it's just
you know,
total chaos every time.
you
Why
know.
don't they learn about logistics?
I think in Florida, it's a lot of it's political.
You think so?
Whoever's happens to be in charge, and you know, it's more about you not voting, not letting you vote,
Well,
and,
yeah,
and that's
there
a
was
shame.
something that was said yesterday, I believe, or in the recent past couple of days, about some sort of pre-election voting that's done, and if the things turn the wrong way, the ballot goes in the wrong way, it just deletes everything. Some of the ballots were
Good
were
grief.
screwed up, and they're going, well, this is only 60,000 votes.
Hello.
So, you know, if it's not real close, you know, we just won't even count it.
Right.
How can
Right.
that be fair?
You know,
I want my
if you're-
one vote
yeah,
counted.
if you're one of those
That's right. If I'm one of
60,000,
those 60,000,
you want that to happen.
But you know, you look in Florida, and though, and you know, the lines, it's taking people 6 or 8 hours to be able to vote there, and I admire their persistence.
But yeah, just to hang
that
in.
they would stay in line that long. And the governor there, typically, I think they had 14 days to early vote in Florida. Which you got to say the population of Florida is a lot more than Tennessee,
yeah.
but you had 14 days to vote there, and they still had issues in the past. But this governor, I don't remember his name, has cut that to 8 days in this election cycle, which makes for even more chaos.
Even more
chaos, you know.
And is it true that there are people that own property, say, in New York and also in Florida, that sometimes they vote twice? How does that work? Why does that
I don't
work?
think you can do that in a presidential election.
Well, I wouldn't think so.
But maybe I think where that would come into play is if you could vote for the governor of New York, and
Now,
you
that I would
you could
understand.
also vote for
Yeah.
the governor in Florida if you had issues like that. It's
Exactly.
kind of like in Tullahoma, if you don't live in the city limits of Tullahoma. But you own property in Tullahoma, you can still vote in the Tullahoma elections.
Well, you have vested interest,
You have vested interest, exactly, and that's the whole point
and
for
you
that.
need representation because
Now you can't. The county is different. Coffee County is different. Even if you own property in Coffee County and you don't live in the county, you can't
Yeah.
vote for county officers. So, but,
that's pretty strange.
well, I think a lot of Tullahoma, I think, passed some ordinance to permit you to do that if you own property in the city of Tullahoma, and I think that's probably what the county would have to do. But that's why that is.
Well, certainly
You're probably not-
property owners that pay taxes, have valid IDs, and all that kind of stuff.
But I don't think
need to vote.
I don't think you're going to be able to. You can't vote for the president twice, just because
I hope
you.
not. I
Just
don't think
because.
that's fair.
Well, just think about the logistics of that. How they keep that from happening.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, because you're in your car and you early vote in Florida and drive up to New York and on election day and walk in. How do the people in New York know you've already voted? Early voting in Florida.
That's a good point.
See, I mean, that's
Yeah.
huge. The logistics of that in itself.
It probably has to do with registration, though.
And Social Security numbers, etc.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, and
In other words, when you register,
those circumstances, if 60,000 votes are discounted because there's something wrong with
That's
the ballot,
wrong.
there's probably less than 60,000 people. There's probably not a whole lot of people that would fall into that category.
Right. 60,000 is a lot of votes when you go back though and you think that you remember Florida was contested in the 2008 or 2000
When
Gore was running, and George Bush Jr. won that election by 500 and something votes. 537 votes. He won the state of Florida by that, and which gave him all the electoral votes from the state of Florida. So, yeah, it could be.
I don't know how they ever keep it straight.
And a lot of times, I remember in the past when absentee ballots, like our military.
Yeah.
Well,
there was a couple of elections ago. There was a thing about the military who sent their stuff in from wherever they were. And none of that was used for some reason.
Well, and I think what it is a lot of times it doesn't come into play. For instance, if the election official returns from a particular state or somebody won by 100,000 votes, and there were 10,000 military votes come in, well, they would say, well, those are, I think, called provisional ballots, and so there wouldn't be enough of those to make a difference in the election, so they probably don't count them. I don't know, but
it seems like everybody's vote should count.
In the Gore Bush race, however, they had to count everything because it was
very close.
So that's why it took several weeks to get all that sorted out.
If you remember back, I think didn't Gore win the popular vote?
He did. He won
and lost the electoral vote,
which could happen again this time as well.
Yeah, this race right here, the way they're talking about it, and of course this show's on right now after the polls are closed.
How soon do you think we'll know?
Everybody's talking about it's close.
Very close.
Even their own. I was watching the Republican guy and the Democratic lady sitting on one of those talk shows last night, and the Republican guy says this, and he said, "Hey, it's coin flip."
Yeah, and this could be very well one of those elections where if you try to sort it all out, and everybody's got an opinion, and there's so much polling that goes out there, but this very well could be an election where Mitt Romney wins the popular vote, but he loses to President Obama because Obama gets the electoral votes, and the state of Ohio is the key. I know
everybody's talking about Ohio. Why is that? Why is Ohio got so many electoral votes? Is there more people there?
It's just the way it comes down, and if you look at the electoral map, most of the southern states are Republican leaning, and there's really Mississippi is so far to that leans to so much Republican they don't even poll down there.
Oh, really?
For one, yeah, there's probably very little polling in the state of Tennessee for the presidential race because Mitt Romney will win Tennessee, and there's no question about that really. But in the Northeast is typically Democratic states. Ohio, however, usually goes Republican. But they didn't in the last election. Obama carried Ohio. I think there's never been a Republican president ever won the presidency without winning Ohio. And it's
it's all that. It's all we have so much statistics and history that say which states go with, and then there's those 10 or so that are sort of up in the air that people, depending on how people turn out and how they feel, and swing states is what they call them,
or battleground states. So I think that's where
they go battle.
I think that's where tonight you see that. If President Obama wins Ohio, he's probably going, and Wisconsin and Michigan, he's probably going to be reelected. Governor Romney really has to win Florida, I think, and North Carolina and Virginia. and one of those other states that I just mentioned in order to have a shot at this.
Do you think everybody on the East Coast has had a chance to vote? Do you think they'll work that out?
I would think there's going to be some people who don't get to the polls.
I think they will. I think they will. I doubt it will affect this election though, because the Maryland is heavily a Democratic state, so probably that's not going to change that there. And New York is leans major toward Obama anyway. I doubt it will affect it there. Probably what the storm caused to happen though was that for about 5 days there was nothing in, that storm dominated the news.
Yeah.
And so Governor Romney really didn't get a lot of press out of that, where President Obama did. So
because he was ready to react.
Right. So that's.
Well, I hope we have enough money to take care of it.
Well, and the thing about it is, there's another one coming up through there right now. Now they're talking about producing a whole lot of snow, and there's a lot of people up there with no electricity.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that people need to get out and donate some money to Red Cross to get some money up there.
There's many ways you can do that.
There's many ways you can do it, and people really need to reach
I don't know the number, but you can
out.
actually text on your phone.
Yeah. I do.
Pledge $10.
Yeah, right. Just by texting the number. So
that's where we are on.
Which is good and bad. I don't want to make light of that situation at all, but there have been some people. I think in Katrina who.
They came up with numbers and they got the money. Right.
Well, actually, that wasn't where I was going there, but you're probably right. That did happen, but there were a lot of people that they would get out in bars and stuff, and they'd get to thinking about that, and then when you're drinking, you always got a lot more money than you do otherwise.
So they give up their money.
So they, people would wake up the next day and realize that, well, I just contributed $500. I texted him 50 times last night. So,
oh no, I can't pay the house payment.
Right.
Anybody need a dog? Jeremy's on the show today.
We have all kinds of neat stuff on this show today, and what we're going to do right now is take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with Just Plain Living.
Times have changed since Traders Bank first opened our doors in 1889. Back then, online banking meant people were waiting ahead of you. And technology? The word hadn't even been invented yet. Even though banking has transformed over the years, at Traders, one thing has never changed. Friendly smiles, a neighborly hello, and a sincere appreciation for our customers. When a Traders employee says, "You're welcome," you are, and you always will be. Traders Bank, you're welcome. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
These are the children who had no chance. They're known as Brazil's street kids. They wander the streets dying by the thousands from drugs, AIDS, and bullets. Most of them have been abandoned, left to survive on their own. These children needed a place to go. I had to do something. So I brought it up at Rotary. People heard about what we were doing and asked how they could help. Together, we raised funds to give them a home and open the school. They're learning a trade. Now hundreds of kids have a family and a future. They're contributing to the community because Rotary believes in making things better for everyone.
Rotary is making a difference right now. They have hope. Rotary gives people an opportunity to help.
Welcome back to Living. I have the nicest dog on the show today, Miss Lizzie Bell. She's here visiting with Jeremy Winton from the
Mitchell,
I'm sorry, from the Animal Clinic. And Miss Lizzie Bell is about how old?
She's about 2. She's already been spayed, so.
So she's ready to go.
Yeah,
she looks very, very friendly.
Yeah, she's a very friendly dog. She might bark at somebody knocking at the door, but that's typical for a little Chihuahua, but she's very sweet. Poor Lizzie, she came in with a very horrible skin condition.
Oh, really?
We'd got her treated, and she's growing all over her hair back, and she's looking really good.
She looks very smart and attentive and
she's
alert.
She's very attentive, and she's a great lap dog. She loves to sit in your lap.
Somebody that needs a lap dog needs to call and get this dog.
Yeah, we haven't had to put her on a leash yet. Well, she is potty trained, so.
So she's a She barks if she wants to go out?
Yeah, she'll let you know when she wants to go out. And
will she bark if somebody is banging at the door or going to bother you?
She'll let you know when there's an intruder.
So she's a good watchdog.
Yep, she'll let you know. She's all around good dog.
2 years old. That's a good time to get a dog because of all the issues with training.
With puppy,
it really makes it.
She's pretty much got all the training behind her.
And of course, the phone number's on the screen. If anybody's interested in Miss Lizzie Bell, has she been spayed and all that? Or
yeah, she's already been spayed. She's had her vaccinations.
Okay, and, so she's ready to go.
She's ready to go.
So if somebody wants to get her, does it cost them at all?
Just $10.
$10, and you've got a dog that'll bark when somebody intrudes, that will sit at your feet in your lap, be a great companion forever.
Yes,
would you say this kind of dog needs to stay inside most of the time?
I would say yes.
It's a house dog, basically, because she's short hair.
Yeah.
And if she does go out, do you encourage people to buy a little sweater for her?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that.
Yeah.
I can't tell people to, but I would recommend it.
Because they don't have enough hair to protect them.
Small body, little hair, so it's awfully cold for them.
Well, is there any events coming up?
No events actually right now.
No events right now?
Yeah, we finished all of our events.
Did that all go well?
Yeah, all went well.
Fantastic.
Actually, I believe in December we're having another pageant
to
raise money for the shelter.
To raise money. And where will that be?
I believe it's going to be one of the local churches. I haven't got all the information yet.
Okay, so you'll know by the next time you come. Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll be in the parade this year.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Take a truckload of dogs?
Well, what we do is we decorate our truck and we get out there. And for the winners from the Bark in the Park, the Mr. and Mrs. Tullahoma Canine will join us.
So they will be in their crowns and their capes, and they will be riding up front in the vehicle.
They'll either they'll either be in the back on a trailer or riding in convertibles and following us. Yeah.
That is too cute. Do you remember who won?
I believe a Cocker Spaniel won the Mr. and the Mrs. I believe was a Afghan Wolfhound.
Oh, with long hair.
Yes.
I'll never forget, I was in London one time and I was looking at the back of this girl's hair sitting in a chair. And it was one of those dogs.
Yeah, big dog.
We don't allow dogs sitting in chairs here in our restaurants, I don't think.
Yeah, I always say they always pick the biggest dogs.
It looked like a girl. I mean, honestly, it was amazing. But you all do such wonderful work. I know we're getting into winter and we need to think about how to take care of our animals.
Yes.
And what needs to be done.
Definitely. I would definitely recommend if you have an outside dog, it's actually a law to make sure you have shelter, which is it has to be a dog house. A garage is okay. Actually, there's a little, if they can even get under the house, that's fine.
Just so they have.
Yeah, just so they have some cover because this type of weather.
They can't stay out in the cold.
Yeah, they can't stay out in the cold without. Carport does not count as shelter.
It's not good enough. Yeah.
No, they have to have it has to have walls around it. So.
Well, I would certainly want Lizzie Bell in the house if I had her, and I would encourage you all to think about somebody you know that maybe can't get around a lot, could use a good dog.
Yep.
This seems to be a perfect companion for just about anybody.
She's good with children and good with
children.
I don't know about cats. We really don't test them with cats. So a lot of people ask me that. Is it good with cats? I'm not sure.
You know, cats are weird.
Yeah.
Cats have their own agenda. You can't really much put your faith in what a cat's going to do.
Exactly, and we don't know what the dog's going to do with the cat.
But they're good pets too.
Yeah.
They're good pets.
Generally, I tell people that have cats to get a puppy so that way they can raise it, grow up around them.
Okay, so if you need a good dog and you're interested in Lizzie Bell, 454-9580. They'll give you whatever information you need, or you can just go over to the animal clinic, I believe,
and
shelter. Say, I have come for Lizzie Bell. Jeremy, I'm so proud of all you do.
Well, thank you.
You're so sweet. I watched you back there with this dog. She's in good hands. Thanks for coming. We'll be back with more of Living.
Our office used to look like this, but now with My Paper-Free Office from R.J. Young, it's easy. We've made all of our files electronic and stored them in our virtual filing cabinet, which gave us tons of space. And Bob here, a big promotion. Melissa can pull files in minutes, and spends hours on Facebook. And Kyle's confidential files stay confidential.
We're not totally paper-free, right? Thank you.
My paper-free office from R.J. Young. It's that easy.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing. Or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and I have a new friend and a new guest on today with me, and her name is Dawn Bellamy, and she is with, among other things, So What? And Dawn, good to see you. Welcome to Just Plain Living. You do a whole lot of stuff, and one of the things you do is market cute things, Christmas things,
home decor,
decorations, and stuff like that. And you're located in
We're located at 311 North Jackson Street. It's the Shahan
building. Yeah.
We're right across from U.S. Bank.
Right across from U.S. Bank, along with several other shops in there.
Yes.
And you do that. You also do wedding planning?
Yes. We are year-round. I own Designer Events. So year-round, I'm an event and wedding planner. And once we get done with our last big fall wedding for the year, then we switch over and we do So What, which is our little holiday decor and retail store. Mm-hmm. So it keeps our year very busy.
And because of that, you have an event planned this weekend.
Yes, we do.
And tell us, is that this weekend or next weekend?
It is this weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And so tell us a little bit about that.
We are doing the second annual Tullahoma Holiday Shopping Expo. We had it last year, had a great response to it, and we're hosting it again this year. And what we do is we try to highlight a lot of Tullahoma's small business and a lot of the at-home businesses, like your trunk shows that a lot of the ladies love. And we are also, so we want to promote, we know Black Friday's coming up, we know you're going to go to Murfreesboro and want to spend. We want you to know that there's a lot of great things here in Tullahoma. You don't have to drive to Murfreesboro and spend all that gas, that's over $3 a gallon. So we want you to shop local. And then we're also having our shoppers come. If you'll bring non-perishable food items, you get a free holiday tote to tote all your goods that you buy at the expo. But you also are giving those food items to local food banks here, so we can help with all the Thanksgiving baskets that are coming up. We can keep those in our community that need food items.
Okay, so here's some pictures here of some of the things they can see. Now, this was from last year's show.
Yes, sir.
And like I say, this is at the event center. And one of the things that started, I don't know whether it was last year or year before, was a national push called Shop Small.
Definitely.
And that is find these little niche stores in your hometown.
Yes.
And like in the Shahan building, and go in there and see. I was amazed when I went in there the other day, because I went to the silver mine to talk to the lady there about something, and saw your shop, came in, and there's just so much cool stuff here in Tullahoma and wherever you are, in Shelbyville or Winchester, right, or McMinnville. You know, you have these nice small hometown shops, and a lot of the stuff is homemade or is locally made.
Yes.
By cottage industries, and so you're supporting numerous businesses.
Yes.
When you shop in a place like this. And it also means you don't have to drive somewhere else.
Exactly.
And what you've done is, by getting all of these people grouped up and going to the event center, then they don't have to hunt you down. They don't have to wonder whether you're down this hall or that hall.
Yes.
This coming Saturday, y'all are going to be in one place.
We're going to be in one place. It will be one-stop shopping, and we will have items for everybody. It's not just, you know, a lot of these things promoting our Ladies' Day Out, and And granted, I won't lie, a lot of the stuff will be lady-oriented, but we have a ton of stuff for, guys, come out and shop. Let your wife give you that honey list or listen throughout the year and know what she wants for Christmas.
Well, you
can
don't
come
listen.
Oh, come on. But you can come out and shop and knock that Santa list right out of the park. And then, again, bring that non-perishable food item so that we're helping a lot of those that really need the help in our community.
Now, when I was in your shop the other day, there was just a lot of cool stuff in there. I love that little funky cloth Christmas tree that was hanging up by your cash register.
Yes.
But you also, there were some ladies in there, and I heard a discussion. I wasn't in the other room, but there was something in there that you had, and I heard the ladies say that every airlines should have this. What were they talking about?
My mom has always sewed my entire life, and she has done a lot of baby gifts, like Boppy custom covers, but this is a nursing cover, and it goes around the lady who's nursing, and it has boning in it. So what it does is it arches out so you can actually see the child, but it's in cool, like little funky fabric, and it goes down over your lap so you can actually cover the child. So if you're in a public place, you can actually nurse. You don't have to feel paranoid or feel like people are staring at you. It's very discreet, but it's also in a real cool pattern, so it looks very trendy and, it doesn't look weird and out of place.
Well, isn't that something? Now, see what you learned, Fuller. We just learned how to nurse in public and be private about it. What about that?
I'm glad we know that.
Jimmy's glad we know that. I'm glad we know that. I think it's great what you're doing.
Thank
you. You're just very, very pleasant. Love your smile.
Thank you.
And I really was impressed with the stuff you have in your store.
Thank you.
And I know this is going to be a very, very good event for you. And tell us a little bit more. I know this is about this weekend, but tell us just a little bit more about your wedding planning business.
Yes.
Because I know that's your
that's our main bread and butter. Yeah.
We
do all sorts of events. It doesn't have to be weddings. We do Sweet 16s. They're super popular since the little MTV show where they put on the elaborate parties for Sweet 16s. We do those. We do baby showers. We've done retirements for a lot of people here in town. We do chamber coffees, like with the chamber. A lot of times those businesses may not have the people and just the time to devote to have a real spectacular coffee, or may want to do a themed coffee.
Right.
So we go and set that up. We have rental items. We have specialty linens. We do a lot of our big stuff with Christopher, so we do not want to compete with any of our local businesses. We want to be in a partnership with a lot of our local businesses. So we do maybe the more unique kind of linens or unique rental items like crystal candelabras and the big feather centerpieces that you see. So we do a lot of that kind of stuff. But weddings probably are the things we get the most press on, because those are the pictures that everybody's going to post on Facebook, or the photographer puts them up on their blogs, and so you see that a lot. But you can come by and see us at 311 North Jackson, and we're on the web, and you can like us on Facebook. All of that technical stuff.
So what? Well, I'll tell you, so what? She's so what? You go down there and see them at So What. Now, I guarantee you'll be glad you went in. Dawn, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for being with us. And again, have a great weekend.
Thank you.
And everybody can shop small this Saturday at the Tullahoma Event Center, and go down there and see all these great vendors. You'll be glad you did. We'll be right back after these messages.
Mark, you've won just about everything there is to win in racing. What's next?
I'd like more people to know about ER Extra.
The emergency room at Harton Regional Medical Center?
I just want them to get the best care they can get.
That just gets me right here, Mark.
Maybe you'd like to pay them a visit.
ER Extra at Harton Regional Medical Center.
ER Extra. Extra fast, extra easy, extra great.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
When you see the sign, The Main Event, take a close look inside at a hair studio that offers services by some of the best master stylists in Middle Tennessee. These stylists offer a list of services that compete with large city salons, from trendy cuts for men, women, and children to the latest color techniques, including highlights and bold color accents. Other services offered include permanent hair weaving and relaxing to formal hairstyle for that special occasion. You can also give yourself a very special treat with a full makeover, including full body waxing. For your convenience, we are open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until the last client leaves happy. Call and make your appointment at 931-571-8682 or stop by our Tullahoma location at 207 North Jackson Street. Pamper yourself at The Main Event today.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're pleased to have joining us on the set now Lacey Wilson. And Lacey is with Blood Assurance, which has an office here in Tullahoma. Lacey, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about what Blood Assurance does.
Well, Blood Assurance is a nonprofit regional blood center, and we supply all the blood to the local hospitals, including Harton Regional Medical Center. Blood donors come into our center, our blood mobiles. They donate blood. It takes about 30 minutes from start to finish, and then we test the blood, type it, and ship it back to the hospitals where it's used for patient transfusion.
Okay, and you work all through Middle Tennessee, I believe.
We do. We cover about 34 counties throughout 4 states. So we have a pretty wide range, and we need a minimum of 400 units of blood every single day to keep the local hospitals supplied here.
No kidding.
That's right.
So I guess there's times where you guys get a little anxious if that doesn't happen.
It does. We can typically see when our number of donors start to decline that we know we're going to be faced with a shortage. Now that usually happens between holidays and summertime. Anytime that people are out of their normal routine, they're not maybe in the same habits, the same driving patterns. Maybe they've got family coming into town for the holidays, and they're not thinking about donating blood like they would otherwise.
You know, we were talking in our opening today about, obviously, today's election day. You were telling me an interesting statistic about people who
That's
vote.
Right. According to America's Blood Centers, 94% of blood donors are also registered voters. So it's a very patriotic group. It's a group that has a definite sense of community and doing something for the greater good.
You sort of had a theory about why that is, about...
You know, a lot of people, a lot of the blood donors that we encounter have started donating blood maybe when they were in the military. It was just something that they were expected to do for their fellow man, and so they started doing that, and they continued it when they converted over back to civilian life. And, you know, as they age, they're taking blood thinners. They might have certain types of surgeries or certain medical conditions that could prevent them from donating blood. So that's especially important for the younger generation to step up and not only go out and vote, but also to roll up their sleeves and be blood donors as well.
You mentioned the younger generation, and something that I really hadn't thought of a lot, but how old do you have to be before you can give blood?
You can donate 16 years old with parental consent or 17 on your own.
Oh, okay. And how often can a person give blood?
They can give blood every 8 weeks, and that's every 56 days. If you donate certain types of components, such as platelets, you can donate every 7 days, up to 24 times a year. It just depends on what you're donating, but most people typically do the whole blood donation, which is the one that takes, about 30 minutes from start to finish when you come into our facility.
can a 16-year-old give on those schedules just as a person who's maybe 30 years old, or does it matter?
Yes, no, it's all the same. Everyone can give every 8 weeks. And we also have programs for our high schools. We have a scholarship program, and we have what's called a Cord of Courage program. And if they donate 6 times in their high school career, they get a red cord that they can wear at their graduation ceremony. So it's very special for them too. It kind of shows that they've, you know, taken initiative and done something for their community.
You mentioned a quart. Is that how much blood you take when you?
No, the Cord of Courage, but we take about 500 milliliters every time that you donate, and that it starts replenishing itself. Platelets obviously replenish a little bit faster, but within just a few hours, your body starts replenishing, and within a few weeks, you've already made that blood back.
Oh, okay. So are there restrictions on the higher end of the age?
No, there used to be, and you had to have a doctor's note, I believe, if you were above age 80, and now that is no longer the case. So you can donate as long as you meet the other requirements.
What about medications and that sort of thing? Are there certain medications that a person would take?
You know, that's a great question. A lot of people think that if they're on certain medications, they can't give blood. There are actually very few medications that would prevent them from being able to donate. Most of those are blood thinners. Some people who are diabetic think they can't donate, and that's not true. You can donate if you have diabetes. You can donate if you have high blood pressure, and even if you're taking medication for that, as long as it's under control when they check you when you come in to donate.
And so if you had blood pressure medication, a lot of people are on that. You would check their blood pressure prior to taking.
When they come in to donate, they would fill out a questionnaire. We would check their iron level, their temperature, their pulse, and their blood pressure. And as long as all of that is okay, then they can proceed to donate.
Now, it's kind of neat the way you guys do it. I know, at least here in Tullahoma, which I've observed, is you really don't have to have an appointment or anything.
No, no.
You can just...
Well, you know, and the good and the bad thing about it, not that many people think about donating blood, so you rarely have a line. A lot of times when there's disaster, some type of, you know, hurricane, tornado, people tend to think about donating then, and there might be a line in an instance like that, but we need blood every single day, and it needs to be on the shelf when the emergency occurs.
I see. Okay. You also mentioned a moment ago about platelets, and you can give a lot more often with platelets than you can actually give blood.
You can. It's a clotting factor. It's a component of your blood, and you can donate platelets every 7 days up to 24 times a year on a special machine called the apheresis machine, which we have those at our Tullahoma Center. And you also get a saline solution back when you donate, so you end up leaving with about as many fluids as when you came in, but because we're not taking those red blood cells, you can donate more often.
Okay. And you're able to do that in your local office right here in Tullahoma?
Yes, absolutely. It takes a little bit longer because the machine is set up to centrifuge the blood right there while the donor waits. It's a single-use sterile kit. It takes the components that it doesn't need and it gives those back to the donors, and then it only keeps out the platelets. But yes, they can do that right here in Tullahoma.
And this whole process is pretty painless, at least as I observed it.
Yes, you know, when you think of patients and what they're going through and what type of conditions require blood transfusions, whether they've been in traumatic accidents or they're undergoing chemotherapy, you know, to think of a small pinch on the inside of your arm, it's really nothing compared to knowing that you've helped save a life.
You mentioned also that there's a constant need for this. You have goals that you have to obtain every day. So I assume that there's a shelf life associated with blood.
There is. Although you can only donate every 56 days, there's a shelf life for red blood cells at 42 days. So there's automatically a gap there between the 42 and the 56. But that's why we constantly need people of all blood types to continue coming in.
And you also do remote blood collection?
We do. Vicki Shelton, who is our donor recruiter here, works to schedule blood drives throughout the community, and anybody can call us or just drop by our Tullahoma office and find out how they can help.
Okay, all right. And this is a really critical part of our society here, because you guys are working at this I would imagine 365 days a year.
We are, you know,
night.
and that's a good point. It doesn't matter if it snows or, you know, if it's a holiday, sometimes our crews are still out working and we're still processing and testing that blood.
And we probably should also emphasize that something you said early on in this interview, and that is the fact that during the holidays, and I remember this, it happens every year, don't it?
It does.
People get to doing other things, and they don't think about that.
It does. They think about all the holiday shopping, the cooking they have to do, the travel, and they're not necessarily thinking about donating blood, but that blood still needs to be there when the patients need it.
I know most of our viewers are probably really busy during the holidays at this time of year, but the recovery time is just almost immediate. You really don't feel ill effects.
Absolutely. From the time you walk into the door until you're ready to go, it's about 30 minutes, and we'll give you a snack and a T-shirt, and of course we'll keep an eye on you and make sure that it's okay,
right,
you know, and that you've had a comfortable experience.
Okay. And here in Tullahoma, tell them what the address of your office is.
It's 1500 North Jackson Street, right next to Northgate Mall, and they can drop by whenever.
Okay, all right. Don't even have to have an appointment, folks. And if you would like to organize a blood drive at your company, school, or whatever like that, who would they? Are you the one they call for that?
They can call me, or they can call Vicki Shelton. Either one, they can call our 1-800 number. It's 1-800-962-0628.
Okay, Lacey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great service you guys are providing for our community.
Thank you.
We'll be right back in just a moment, folks, right after these messages.
Citizens Tri-County Bank has the checking, loans, savings, and traditional banking services you want. Plus free internet banking and bill pay, bank your change, Visa gift card, and lots more state-of-the-art banking services. We focus on the service and services you want. So you can bank when, where, and how you want, at our offices, or from just about anywhere. Citizens Tri-County Bank, the only community bank you'll ever need.
This facility was built literally on the international date line to bring Charter customers tomorrow's technology first. Like Charter Internet, which was just made faster again. With speeds up to 100 megs, you can download a movie in 2 minutes. The #1 internet service provider in the nation. Click.
Fogelman, good luck with the presentation tomorrow.
Already nailed it.
Get Charter Internet Express for only $19.99 a month.
All right, folks, welcome back. You know, one of the things you get to do by being the television person is you get to travel around town with a camera and find all kinds of neat stuff going on. Well, the other day I was at Traders National Bank, and they were having a chili cook-off competition there, and it was a kickoff for their fundraising for 5 Loaves for Kids. And that's one of the things that we're behind, because Channel Lawson, who was a news reporter here and read the news at Channel 6, and now Miss Tennessee, started that program. But this is a neat video about some chili cooking and some fun at Traders Bank. All right, we're in the kitchen of Traders National Bank upstairs.
All good.
And this is the 5th annual Traders National Bank Chili Cook-Off, and I'm just going to show you some of these different chilies here, and we're going to get the chefs and the maestros about this and get them up here and talk and see who the prize winners were. But you can tell that it was some good stuff, because there's just not a whole lot left. And this is the first place winner right here, and it's produced by the Tellers, and it is first place, and their team is the Flamin' Sheettes. Sheettes. The Flamin' Sheettes. Second place is the Flamin' Hot Chili Mamas.
There's one right there.
And there's one right over there. I'll get her. And this also won the Chef's Choice Award. And then third place is Team Nitro. And I think that had something to do with Big Dave and Andy. Wait a minute. Hey, what you got there, Andy? Is that Team Nitro right there?
It's that Team Nitro stuff.
What is it? What'll it do to a man?
Hair on his head.
Will it put hair on his head?
Set you straight.
Will it put hair on his head?
I wish it put hair on my head.
I'm Benny Garrick. I'm with Traders National Bank. This is Halloween 2012. It's been a tradition, this is our 5th year, that we kick off our 5 Loaves for Kids campaign to raise funds with a chili cook-off. We divide the employees of the bank up into 10 different groups, and they each cook chili. We have a little contest, and there's no real prize, but it sort of gets them excited about asking for donations for 5 Loaves for Kids. Today, the #1 team was the ladies in bookkeeping. Now, these are judged by some very notable people. Mayor Curley, Mayor Lonnie Norman, Mayor David Pennington, Mary Mealer from TUB, George Martin from Emil's, Jeff Dameron, a local businessman, and Tom Copeland, our chairman of the board. Second place went to the bookkeeping department. And third place went to the loan officers. The second place team was also named by George Martin, the chef at Emil's, for the Chef's Choice Award. It was a fun time. We raised some money for a good cause, and we're going to help a lot of kids have food to eat on the weekends with the 5 Loaves for Kids program. And we look forward to doing this for many years to come.
This is Eli Manning on behalf of the American Red Cross. You can help the victims of thousands of disasters across the country each year. Disasters like the recent hurricanes. Please make a financial gift to the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. This fund enables the Red Cross to provide shelter, food, counseling, and other assistance to the victims of disasters. To make a contribution, call 1-800-RED-CROSS or visit redcross.org. Thank you for your support.
Partners for Healing provides medical care to the working uninsured of Coffee, Franklin, and Moore counties. We are in Tullahoma from 8 to 5, Monday through Thursdays, and in Manchester on Fridays from 8 to 12. We provide primary medical care and offer an in-house disease management program.
My name is Rosie Mitchell, and I would just like to say I am blessed to have partners in my life.
Please call 455-5014 for more information. Thank you for being one of our Partners for Healing.
Waiting around for things other people get right away just doesn't make much sense. Get high-speed Charter internet and enjoy downloads way faster than DSL.
Welcome back to Living. You're going to be so glad you hung around for this next segment. I have just had the great pleasure of meeting up with Dot McClooney again, and I didn't even actually have ever met you,
no,
I don't think, but
true.
I lived in her house. We bought your house when we moved from London and loved it, by the way. You're here showing some wonderful artwork, and I think that to take the opportunity for you, I know you won something at the fair this year. First place?
First place in its category, the rooster there.
Oh, okay. He's going first. He's showing the cats. So when did you do? I love cats. When did you do that one?
I did that several years ago, and about 4 years ago, it won something.
That is so sweet. Did you have a picture of that, or did you?
Yeah, a small picture. And it was it's bobcats.
And I hear we may have bobcats in our woods these days. And if you go on around with the pictures, we'll go to the rooster.
Okay, I saw that one in a magazine selling the actual live.
Oh, selling the roosters.
Yeah, and
I don't know what that one's called, but he's beautiful.
Well, he's a Japanese Bantam.
A Japanese Bantam.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I understand that the Japanese, I know I used to live in the Philippine Islands, and they would come to Tennessee to get Bantam roosters.
Oh, really?
And I don't know if, I guess you go to Japan to get a Japanese Bantam, but that is absolutely beautiful. And that won first place at the fair.
This year.
That's amazing. All right, what do we have here in the middle?
In its category.
Yeah, in its category.
Now that's one of the...
Is that Falls Mill?
Copies, yes. That's one
a
of
copy?
the copies.
Not the real deal. It
and
looks
that's
like
the
the
way
real deal.
the copies look on the glass.
That is beautiful. I know you sell these sometimes. What do you sell a copy for?
Normally $35, but I would like in some way to sell them like for $25 and give $5 to the Christmas things, either.
Oh, I see what you mean.
You know, for the food
for the food for the people that need it, or maybe for children, needy children.
Right.
Let's put a phone number up. So if anyone is interested in buying one of your pieces, who would they call?
You can call 409-1405.
409-1405. Is that a cell phone?
Yes, it is.
Okay, there it is on the screen. And when did you do this one?
I did that 3 years ago.
That's teepees.
It also won.
That's beautiful. I mean, is that teepees?
Yes.
And the Native Americans would appreciate that. Did you do that from a picture also?
Yes.
And is that a real painting right there, or is that a print?
This is. No,
okay.
It's a real painting.
It's a real painting. And what are the colors you work? I mean, what is
acrylics.
Do you do acrylics? Mm-hmm. Do you prefer acrylics to oils and stuff?
I do, because of my breathing. The oil don't smell.
The oil doesn't,
like it used to.
Yeah.
But I still don't like to smell it.
You know what fascinated me was when you told me when you started painting. You were 72 years old.
Right.
That is totally amazing. What inspired you? What made you want to do it?
Well, I've been a busy person all my life, and I became ill, and very ill, and I couldn't do anything. And I always wanted, I drew a lot.
You drew pictures?
And I always wanted to paint. So I ordered some books from Northlight.
Okay.
And
so you didn't actually go take lessons anywhere? No. You just ordered the books?
I went to Senior Citizens for about 3 weeks.
And from there, you've done all this. Now, think if these will show up. I love that. What is that?
Now, that's Falls Mill.
That's Falls Mill.
And the little one over there is a different version of it. This is the painting, and that one over there is a copy.
And the one on the other side is a copy. Mm-hmm. And the copies you're selling for $35.
Yeah.
And I was interested in, what are those owls?
Owls.
White owls? Can we see that? There you go. I hear those in the woods sometimes.
Yeah.
At night.
Now, this is one of the first ones I did.
Is that one of your first ones? Pretty. And this is the sweetest thing. Bless me and Rufus. That's a little boy and his dog, and they're both saying their prayers. And I got fascinated because Christmas is coming up, and you've got some Christmas.
Right.
And I believe these, is that a print or the real thing?
That's
I can't tell the difference anymore.
Print.
That's really
cute. And I
cute.
also have, I made up some Christmas cards.
Oh, did you? You have Christmas cards for sale? So if a person came in, they could maybe, you already have those printed, or do they pick out?
I can have them printed.
They pick out what they want. If they like this cowboy Santa riding a horse, then they could take that and you could turn it. And I think this is an awesome Santa Claus picture. Look at that. That is just really, really pretty. And I think this is the mill again. And
yeah.
You said this was the last one you did?
Yeah, I just
you just had to get a guitar in there, I suppose.
Well, I thought it looked like Charlie Daniels, so.
Charlie Daniels and Christmas and Santa coming down.
Yeah.
These make great Christmas cards.
Yeah, it would.
It really, really would. If anybody wants to visit your house, they just call and you will. Is that how you do it?
No, I could meet them.
You will meet them somewhere.
Or I hadn't thought about doing it, but I could get some shop.
Right, to show your work. So if anybody's interested in purchasing, or maybe they have something they'd like for you to paint, will you do that?
Yeah, I'll try.
You'll give it.
I never know whether I can do anything or not.
Well, what inspires you the most?
I'd always been busy, and I wanted to paint, so I had to do something.
Well, I noticed that you go from like animals to the landscape and whatever. Do you prefer doing like Santa Claus or a landscape? You don't.
And
whatever.
I paint lighthouses.
Oh, you do lighthouses.
Yeah.
That's neat. What got you interested in lighthouses?
Well, I lived in Florida, in Fort Walton Beach, for several years.
Yeah.
And I loved the Gulf. And I don't know, I have several of those out in the car.
Yeah. My son was in Rhode Island, and we had the opportunity to go and spend a weekend in one of the lighthouses, but my husband was very ill, so we never got to do it. But he had some beautiful pictures of the lighthouses. Those are exciting. And I love your landscape. I love your. Do you have certain colors you like to work with more than others?
No. I just it just comes to me.
I just wondered if do you ever just sit down with your canvas and start painting?
Yeah.
Just on your own?
Every once in a while.
Every once in a while. Do you ever do faces like your friends, yourself? You do that sometimes?
Yeah.
Well, you know, Dorothy, they're telling me we're out of time. One of these days we got to talk about our ghost stories.
Okay.
Okay?
That's fine.
That'd be fun. Thanks for coming.
Thank
we'll
you.
be back with more of Living.
It is said that the eyes are the windows to the soul, and the Eye Care Center wants to make your eyes the best windows possible. The professionals at the Eye Care Center have been offering comprehensive eye care for over 30 years. From eye examinations to eye surgery, from children to seniors, we have the services you need. We pride ourselves on taking the time to fully understand our patients' wants and needs. Each patient is a unique situation and deserves our full attention and the latest treatment options. So call or stop by one of our 4 convenient locations and start seeing better today.
Hello, this is J.D. Oliver from the Smokehouse on Mount Eagle Mountain. Me and my sisters Nancy and Betsy would like to thank you all for your continued support. This year we're celebrating our 50-year anniversary at the Smokehouse. In conjunction with our 50-year celebration, we are bringing Music on the Mountain every Saturday night, 7 p.m. till 10 p.m., featuring the best of Nashville. We have had some wonderful singers, hit songwriters, and Nashville's rising stars have taken the stage. Come out this Saturday night and every Saturday night through the end of the year. Make it a date night or bring the whole family. Help us celebrate 50 years in the community. Music on the Mountain is free every Saturday night at Jim Oliver Smokehouse.
Hey, this is Sean Mayer. I'd like to invite everybody out to the Smokehouse every Saturday night for great music and awesome food.
Thank you very much, y'all.
Some people think that pressing their on-demand button will cost money or make their house explode or something. Of course, neither of these things is true. On-demand is just a way to access thousands of free movies and TV shows. The code to blow up a house is actually channel up, channel down, 2*77.
On demand, thousands of free movies and TV shows on your schedule, and nothing bad.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're pleased to have joining us on the set now, Honor Rockentour. Did I get that right?
You did.
I got
yes.
Okay, all right. And Honor is a author from the Tullahoma area, I assume?
Manchester
actually. area.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. How long have you been writing?
Well, I've been writing things down since I was 13.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Which was about 5 years ago?
No, about 15 years ago.
Okay, all right.
No, I actually started writing the book that I have published now when I started MTSU about 8 years ago now.
Is that what you studied in school? Is that what your ambition was?
I have various degrees. Yeah, one of the ones that I got from MTSU was English. And that was what I graduated with a bachelor's with that. And I did want to be an author, but everyone in the world kept telling me, you can't be an author and make a living with it. So I went back to school for another degree.
Yeah. And so, but are you a full-time author?
I'm a full-time author.
You've got to be pleased with that.
I'm very pleased, actually.
Yeah.
And I want to go back to all those people who told me I couldn't do it and say, well,
yeah.
what do you say now?
Okay. All right. So you mentioned you started doing writing when you were 13, so obviously this is something you aspired to do most of your life.
Yeah, I couldn't stop doing it, to tell you the truth. Stories would just flow out of me. I'd go to sleep, I'd dream a whole book, I had to get up and write it down. It was just something I was compelled to do almost.
You know, writing is not something that really comes easy to me, and yet I'm the news director here. I mean, it's something that sort of I have to work at. But fortunately, a lot of it's video, and so I don't have to do it. But I've often wondered how someone who writes books, do you get an idea, you get inspired by an idea, and then you just make notes and then come back and fill in all the pieces? How does that work for you?
I've actually seen various authors do various techniques. I run a publishing house on top of everything else I do.
Really?
And some of my authors, they do that. They'll sit down, they'll write out an outline, and they go back in, they start filling in, and they're amazing at it. They can write 2 chapters a day. I'm very envious of them, by the way. I can't do that. I usually, I do a J-dream, or I go to sleep and I dream up the next segment that I need to write. I often sit down and talk to my characters like they're real living beings some days, because I can't figure out what I'm supposed to do next in the story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more inspiration on my part. I have to be motivated to write, which is why some of my stories are still 50 pages in and stuck.
Do you ever have those thoughts that come to you? And I say this because I used to try to write songs, and sometimes I'd be in the bed and I'd get an idea, and I'd have to get up before I forgot it and go jot it down. Do you?
Oh, yes. Yes, happens all the time. 3 o'clock in the morning. That's when they like to talk to me.
Oh my goodness, okay. Well, are there particular subjects that you like? Is this fiction, I assume, is that correct?
This is fantasy, yes. The book is called John 10.
Uh-huh.
And it's a young adult fantasy. The whole series was. It's a 4-book series. I do write other genres, however. My next book that will be coming out is a sci-fi novel.
No kidding.
And I do prefer fantasy just because it's easier for me to make up all the rules. I don't have to do as much research.
Right.
But I do mystery some days. I do sci-fi some days. It depends.
This particular book, you've obviously published this book, so it's out there for sale right now.
Yes.
Okay. And the book is called?
John 10.
John 10, okay.
It was one of those words that came with the dream. I didn't have much choice on that one.
Yeah.
It's actually available at Hastings here in Tullahoma and in Murfreesboro. And you can buy it on Amazon, of course.
So what can you tell us about the book? Tell just something to tease their appetite.
Oh, to tease their appetite. Yeah. Well, that's a very dangerous question to ask an author, because we can talk for years about our books.
Okay.
Never run out of things to say. A short synopsis. The main character of the book is named Garth. He's a young man of 16, and he's born with this incredible magical power, and it hasn't been seen in almost 200 years. And they're not quite sure what to do with him, because he was born in Chihir, a country that does not accept magic at all. He had to escape over the border into the neighboring country to just get trained. And because they haven't seen his magic in a long time, they know what he should be capable of doing, but not how he's supposed to do it. So he kind of has to figure everything out for himself. But in the process, he also figures out why his particular brand of magic hasn't been seen in 200 years. You know, there's a couple different factors that led to that. And he's also able eventually to convince his mother country that magic is a tool, good or bad, and that there's nothing wrong with them accepting it again.
Okay.
Now, it takes 4 books to get to that point.
It takes 4 books to get to where you just told me? Oh, okay, so you've obviously written those already.
Oh, yeah, the whole series is published. It's all out there.
Right, okay. How long did it take you to do this?
Oh, well, I was a little delayed, because the first book I finished within a year, exactly to the day a year. And I was trying to publish it the old-fashioned way, going through the big publishing houses, getting a literary agent, that kind of thing. And I wasn't getting anywhere. So for 3 years, I kind of spun my wheels and just finished writing the rest of the series. And then I got frustrated enough to where someone suggested to me that I needed to publish on the Kindle. And I thought, well, I'm not doing anything else.
Right.
Can't hurt.
Right.
So I took 6 months to figure out how to do that, because it's very technical. You have to really know computers to be able to do it. And then once I had it out there, it was selling internationally in 3 months. I was actually able to quit my day job in 3 months.
Yeah. That is unbelievable. You have to be just absolutely tickled to death
A
about
little,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. And how many books have you written?
I've written
so far?
5 at this point.
Right.
The 4 books within the series, and then I had so many people who didn't know me from Eve, who would just come up to me and talk to me about publishing. And I thought, they don't even know I'm an author. How do they know to talk to me?
Yeah.
But I would tell them what my experience was and how I did what I did. And I got tired of repeating myself after about the 500th time of doing it. So I wrote a publishing guide, how to put yourself out there and how to be published without putting yourself into debt doing it.
Yes.
And the last statement there, without putting yourself in debt to do it, that's phenomenal.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that people ought to pay you for, which I guess they do if they.
Well, it's $2 for the guide, but it's not that much.
So what do you have in the works now? What are your plans for the future?
Well, I actually have quite a few stories that I'm working on. I have 3 books that I know I'm going to be releasing within the next year. I'm very prolific, which is a good thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But I also run the publishing house, as I said, Raconteur House, and I'm helping other authors who are just as frustrated trying to get their books out there to be published. So I have 2 of their books coming out within the next month and a half.
I would just think it takes incredible patience to do this, because if it takes you a year to get it all written, and and then you've got to go through the publishing part of it, but which you seem to have worked out a deal here, but you'd have to have, as I said, incredible patience to do that.
It does. It takes a lot of patience. Part of the problem is that you have to read the same book 4 or 5 times within a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to look at it with fresh eyes every time. That's challenging.
Yeah, I can imagine. But I would think that obviously you're smiling and you're doing something you love doing, I'd have to think.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do love my job. Even when I'm, fingers are cramping after being in front of a keyboard for 8 hours and my head's willing to explode, but I do. It's very fun.
Okay. All right, and this book again is called?
John 10.
Uh-huh.
It's book 1 of the Advent Mage Cycle, and it's underneath my pen name, Honor Raconteur.
Okay, Raconteur. Okay. That's a great name. I love that.
It's actually a word.
Is it?
No one uses it anymore.
And it means?
Raconteur is a teller of tales or a bearer of stories.
How appropriate. Okay. All right, this book is on sale here in Tullahoma at Hastings Book Store. And where else may you obtain this book?
Murfreesboro is in Hastings. McMinnville is in Hastings.
Right.
And the Grumpy Bookseller in Murfreesboro also has it.
Okay. Such a pleasure to meet you today.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for coming by. All right, we'll be right back in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen, right after these messages.
Serving you as a local firefighter.
Proudly served our country in the United States Air Force.
Serving Tullahoma.
Helping our kids.
Hi, I'm Terry Stroop. Your comfort is our service. We'd like to thank Tullahoma for the privilege of serving your heating and cooling needs.
How can toys like these lead to a 6-year-old's death and leave another child permanently brain damaged? Because they're not toys at all. A safety message from your local fire department and this station.
Oh, there's my cat. Should I put her away?
Lighten it up a little bit.
How's this? Great.
Good. There we go.
So you've been meaning to do
something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors, and meet new people, we have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Cove Lake, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Martin Weakley, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, Rugby in the Big South Fork, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
All right, folks, we're back, and you know, Halloween's past, Thanksgiving's not that far away, and Christmas is after that, and it makes you think of winter weather, and even up north right now, they're talking about maybe some snow, even in northern Tennessee, some flakes over the next day or two, which makes me think of the Snowbell Queen.
That's right.
And I'm here with Sandra Yates, and she is in charge of the Snowbell pageant.
Right, right, for the Manchester Arts Center. It's an annual pageant. It's a fundraiser that we've had the last 4 years. It's been very successful. We're thankful for all the beautiful girls that come out and participate. We have lots of fabulous door prizes. The younger group of girls from 4 to 6 years old, the Little Miss Frost, they all get a crown. Little Miss Frost, they all get a crown. And then we have, of course, crowns and flowers for the older group. And also this year for the Queen, we have a scepter was donated, a really beautiful scepter for our Queen.
How many girls do you usually have in this show?
Last year I think we had 70, 72 or something like that.
And that's great.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
And you have a lot of people come?
Yes.
And now this is held at the MAC?
Yes, at the MAC, right.
Which is the Manchester Arts Center, for you folks out there who don't know. Right. And that's located in downtown Manchester.
Right. East Main.
East Main. And are you part of the administration there?
Yes.
Or on the board or involved?
On the board, right. I'm on the board, and I kind of help with the fundraisers. That's basically, I guess, my job.
Well, that's a very, very important job.
Right.
Because without funding, our arts would go away.
That's right.
So just to give these people a little bit of an idea about what this is like, you have brought with you today last year's winners.
Right.
And would you introduce them and get them? We're going to show them on stage.
All right. Well, first I'd like to introduce Elizabeth Brown. She's a Little Miss Snowflake.
Isn't she pretty?
She's pretty. She's participated every year. I think we've had the pageant. So she won this year. So you just keep on keeping on. You're going to win.
And that category is from what? What's the age category?
7
there?
to 9.
7 to 9.
Right.
All right. Isn't she lovely? Look at that. Look at that smile. There's that smile. Look at there.
And then we have our next winner in the next age group is Gracie Richardson, and she's our preteen princess, and that's from 12 to, let's see, 12 to, no, that's not right on that age. What is that? 10 to 12. 10 to 12.
Now, what kind of name does she have? She Miss what?
She's just the preteen Snowbell princess.
She doesn't have a special snowflake.
No,
Snowball.
We ran out of names.
Snowball. Igloo.
Right. Hey, I should have called you.
Didn't she? Look at that. Now, isn't that lovely?
Yeah,
look at that beautiful face. Look at those dimples.
Yeah.
Look at them. The more she smiles, the bigger they get. She is just beautiful.
She is. And she won also at the Fairest of the Fair this year at her age group.
Oh, wonderful.
So she's a winner, yeah. And our next princess is Abby Roberts, and she's in the group from 13 to 15. She is our teen Snowbell princess.
Yay, Rob! Look at there. I mean, that's a sparkly dress
That
right there.
is a sparkly dress.
And aren't they lovely?
They are. I have 5 categories. Our youngest little Miss Frost, she wasn't able to come today, and our Queen from in the older age group, 16 to 21, she's in college, so she couldn't come today. But we had these our other winners come, and that's just kind of an example of what they wear. It's a formal pageant, so they wear formal dresses, And there's our scepter and a couple of the crowns that are.
Now, who are the judges?
I get out-of-town judges.
Out-of-town judges, which is a wise thing to do.
And I can't tell you who they are.
This is not your first rodeo, is
exactly.
it? You're not going to be the one making the decision on this, are you?
No.
I understand that.
And the crown and that scepter was donated by Judy Skelton, and this and that. And she really, really donated some nice ones this year, so she always supports us.
Right. Well, what else is going on at the MAC these days?
Well, we're doing Fiddler on the Roof right now.
That's what I heard.
And
good crowds?
Yes, good crowds so far. We got one more weekend, and we'll have and I'm not sure on these dates, but you can check our website. We've got our great Jamie Harden Christmas show coming up.
Yeah.
So everything Jamie does is wonderful.
Well, he's really invested himself in the arts in Manchester, and he and Fuzzy,
they work so hard.
And,
yes.
It takes a whole lot of people and it takes a whole lot of work to pull off the kind of shows that Jamie does. Peggy Burton's sitting out here, and one of the hosts on this show is the same way at the Tullahoma at South Jackson Civic Center, and you don't realize how much it takes to do what you folks do and what gets done at our regional and our local entertainment centers for the arts. And if you have a spare buck,
come support
one of these places. Because
right.
The government funding for stuff like this has just about gone away to nothing. And we're working as a nonprofit, and we depend on people in the seats, and donations, and donations,
And we've got such a wonderful facility.
You
up
have
there.
a great facility over there.
We're so lucky for our little town to have that great theater.
So they need to come see you, don't they?
That's right. They need to come see.
Now, when is this pageant again?
Okay, it's November the 24th. It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. It's the same Saturday every year that we have it, and we have a lot of grandmas and grandpas and aunts and uncles and friends come out to watch their participant.
What time does it start?
Okay, our first class starts at 12 o'clock, and we're usually, like I said, we have 5 classes. We're usually through by 5:30 or 6, and we'll have a photographer there.
Oh yeah.
He'll be set up to make pictures. Of course, we get pictures of the winner, and then anybody else that wants to buy any extra pictures or order pictures. So we have pictures, and we try to do it nice and lots of door prizes. I've got lots of great door prizes this year.
So you folks, it's the Saturday after Thanksgiving. You can get up, go squirrel hunting on Saturday morning. And be back by noon, go to the beauty pageant.
That's right. Come see our beautiful girls.
That's right.
And the pageant is open. It's you don't have to live in Manchester, Coffee County, so if you've got a relative coming in for the holidays, just bring her out and put her in the pageant.
Okay, so how do they just show up?
Check the website, and you can run an application off our website. It's www.manchesterartscenter.com, or call me personally. I'll make sure you get one at 273-4712. Sandra Yates.
Sandra, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Keep bringing those pretty girls over
I'm
here.
going to.
Okay.
Thank you.
Folks, we'll be right back after these messages. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the paint. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the paint works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them, and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat. You know, they do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the Paint Works at 1960 North Washington Street, and you see David Heikkinen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fix you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paint Works today. Martin Senor. See? Martin Senor. Right there. Martin Senor at the Paint Works. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
Doing whatever it takes to respect our customers' homes. Just one more way Charter is obsessed with serving you better.
All right, folks, we're back, and this past Sunday, the Katie Ishey's toy convoy, the 41 toy convoy, rolled into Tullahoma, and I was downtown, and here we go. Toy convoy. This is the toy convoy, 41A toy convoy downtown Tullahoma, and there's cars and motorcycles, big rigs, trains, and music.
Give up on me.
And there's all kinds of cars, good looking antique cars people work on. Look at there, there's a big orange one over there. Now that's something you don't see every day right there, I'll guarantee you that.
2 in the state of Tennessee.
What?
There's just 2 in the state of Tennessee.
Well, what exactly is it?
It's a Cobra trike, and it's factory built. They
Really?
build them out west, yeah. The Danny Fremont.
Well, it's sure different. Is it fun to drive?
Oh, yeah.
All right. A whole family of cars right there. And the reason the car family is here, they're a custom automotive shop, right?
Yes, sir.
And that truck is full of toys.
That they raised by themselves.
That they did what?
They raised those all by themselves.
Raised that money all by themselves. Get it, tighten up, men. Get in here where we can get all of you, all those smiles. Just what put you in the notion to do that? Go out and get all these toys for these kids.
I just wanted to help out less fortunate kids.
There you go.
We take so much for granted, so there's a lot we can help out with.
You got it. What about these two over here? Get it before the train comes.
Just doing it for the kids.
Yeah, doing it for the kids. Where are you located?
Manchester.
Manchester?
807 MacArthur Street.
807 MacArthur Street. You do anything about cars, don't you?
Yes, sir.
All right. That's a good commercial for you right there. Won't charge you a thing because of all you've done for the convoy. Katie, are you happy, baby?
Yes, I am. We got more toys this year with fewer people than we did last year with more people.
All right.
That makes sense.
All right. It makes sense.
We got 3 big pickup trucks full of toys.
All right. Well, you did a great job. Did a great job. We're proud of you. Go enjoy. There's some guy down there singing music. I don't know
that's
who
the
he
Rebel
is.
Soul Band. That's Virgil T.
I don't know who that guy is down there. I guess he'd cut a tree down if you give him a chance.
I bet he would too. And Virgil Tree thanks everybody for coming out and supporting the convoy, and for the city of Tullahoma and Manchester and the county for helping us get through the traffic and all.
All right, and the cars. There they are. Y'all need to start a rock and roll band. There you go. Thank y'all. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Look around, the changes catch your eye, and you come to realize one can make a difference. Reach out, stand out, find out what it's all about. See it all, stand tall, be there to catch them when they fall.
Since 1915, Kiwanis International has touched millions of lives through thousands of service programs for children around the world. When you help one child, you help the world.
Life is bigger than just one, but one can make a difference.
All right, John, we've about made it through another one, amazingly.
We sure have, and we've gone everywhere from the election to the Snowbell Queen.
Yeah, let's see.
You had an author?
I had an author, yes, I did. Alicia, and she carried me through that interview because it was a last-minute thing, and I wasn't sure what the whole segment was about, but I found out that you really don't need to know a lot to be a host of this show, because your guest will always get you through it.
Just turn it over to them.
That's exactly right. You know, if you're watching this on Tuesday night, by now you may know who the new president is, or if there's been a change in president. So, you know.
I don't know.
But anyway, also a big weekend coming up for the Tullahoma Wildcats as they're playing Columbia.
In Columbia.
In Columbia. And, boy, that's been a battle over the years right there.
Yeah, 5 times. This will be the 5th time in 3 years we've gone to war with them.
Yeah.
And it's a war, folks, and it will be this Friday, and that's at 7 o'clock in Columbia, and we sure do need a lot of support from Tullahoma, because they will be wired and fired, and they've got this big train whistle they blow, and you know, it's they show a little bit of arrogance, and that's all right too. But we just need to have the fans fill the stands.
I heard you talking on Saturday's football show with John Olive. You were advocating that Tullahoma fans bring cowbells.
Bring cowbells. They have Wildcat cowbells now.
Yeah.
And man, get your cowbell. Put rocks in a sun-drop bottle or something to shake. One thing I want to tell you real quick is Over the River and Through the Woods. It's the Playhouse production that's going to be at South Jackson Civic Center on the 10th, November the 10th. $5 of every ticket on November the 10th will go to as a gift to the Tullahoma Daycare Center to help support Louis Baldwin and the mission that they have over at the daycare center, because they're in need of funding real bad right now. So Over the River and Through the Woods, go on the 10th, fill the house.
All right.
All right, we're out of here, Jim.
Did we get the X
I
yet?
think we've got the X. Yeah, he just put the X up there. Thank you, folks. It's a pleasure being here with you. And tell the sponsors thank you and buy something from them.
All right. Thanks again for watching this evening.